Craven's Vampire Coven.
Andrew Craven was a good man who kept his family protected. He was always a good father, and as a husband did as was expected. 3 daughters, a wife, and a son. Craven loved his family, but his life would soon come undone. Andrew was a dashing man that at any ball would turn a head or two. Although emotionally pleasing to his wife, he stayed true. Yet nearly 8 years to the day, he met a girl who was named May. Little did he know this woman full of joy was a vampire who would play with him like a toy. She sank her teeth into Craven as she chose him to return under the banner of the Coven of the Raven. Like a slave, he obeyed her every will, as under threat of this vampiress his family she would kill. Her Coven of the Raven, his newfound home, his soul would turn to darkness as he only wished to be alone. This was a coven, her family, many of which looked upon him and did not take kindly. To turn anew of their breed in most eyes was seen as taking a lesser creature and tainting their coven unclean. For many years she used him for her lust, as he was but a pet whose touch he learned to disgust. So one early morning, when the sun had arisen, those elders could not stand the heat, so unforgiven. He was turned anew and could stand the sun, at least for a moment's view. The last to die was his reluctant bride, which turned him to a great disgrace. He called the Coven of the Raven and felt free from their unholy embrace. Not loving or caring for this life anew, many years later, Craven eventually went home in search for something old, yet so very true. For what was left of his heart, unfortunate, his home lie empty, and his family driven apart. He wanted a new life built upon the old. First his loved one's veins must run cold. He hunted them down, one by one. His first stop was a new man that used to be his son. He would give them a bloody fright. While they slept, he bit his son's wife before disappearing into the night. His older daughter he would then seek. Even for a vampire, it took him nearly a week. She lived not alone, yet in a dorm, not a home. Another vampiric bite, his daughter he grabbed and dragged out of the light and into that dark night. She would turn in his arms and embrace her new charms. His wife, who had remarried, she was with new child and a new man. This his coagulated blood just could not stand. There was a slaughter and a bit of a strife as he broke in and stealthily bit his youngest daughter before confronting his wife. The new children were used for feeding as he saved the husband for later eating. Craven returned to his son's house. There he saw a woman covered in a blood-soaked blouse. All were undead, grandchildren and son, Truly, this covenant would be together as one. What was left was his middle child, who the family found camping in the wild as she slept in a tent with her fiancé outside. He sat around a campfire, protecting her with pride. In silence, Craven turned him first, knowing with him she would embrace the thirst. As she slept so silently, before day had broken, her family gave her immortality, her heartbeat the token. Once all fed together, the family was forever. Soon to the wife's house they would retreat, and the unwanted husband, the Coven, shall